Today's news. Hearing on youth activist Apple to be held on July 5. Project on social integration of orphans. Implementation of education projects. Resident of Fizuli region in prison under false charge. Today, Ganja City Appellate Court held a preliminary hearing on the case of youth activist Bakhtiar Hajiev. The judge Chingiz Mammadov presided over the hearing. Bakhtiar Hajiev, his lawyer Alay Pasanov, and other well-known lawyers and media representatives attended the hearing. Lawyer Alay Pasanov filed several motions at the beginning of the hearing. These include introduction of the decision issued by the Court of First Instance to the defendant's side, replacement of Hajiev's imprisonment with release on bail. The judge only granted the motion requesting the copy of the first instance court decision. The next hearing was scheduled to 12 p.m. July 5, 2011. Ganja City Court sentenced youth activist Bakhtiar Hajiev to 2 years in jail on May 18, 2011, charging with him dodging military service. It is widely thought that Hajiev was arrested for his activity on social networking sites and his support of the March 11 Great People's Day campaign. Human Rights 21st Century Azerbaijan Foundation held a press conference on the conclusions of the project titled Let's Create Opportunities for Orphans to Integrate into Society. The project was financed by the State Council for Support to NGOs. The project goal was to raise the awareness of the teenagers on their human rights sphere and assist them in succeeding in the settlement of the problems they would face in future. Human Rights 21st Century Azerbaijan Foundation head Shahin Jamalov said that the project was held in the boarding school number 1 located in Mashtal settlement with the approval and support from Education Ministry. The teenagers were educated on social rights and were provided with psychological support to speed up the integration into the society as a part of the project. The teenagers received different legal information within 2 months. The legal trainings included the children's rights, living in health environment, accommodation, education, marriage, property, labor and property, lawyer Ulviya Rahimova said. The teenagers were also informed about the psychological challenges they could face in independent life. These include the creation of an environment of confidence, source of psychological damage, communication in intolerant environment, aggression, stress and depression, suicide, tolerant behavior in conflict situation, overcoming the fear, role of labor in human life, and so on. Besides, the expert emphasized the need for the youth are graduating from boarding schools to learn the realities in the society ahead of entering the independent life. At the very beginning of their independent life, they see a corrupt climate, and this causes great challenges, said Corruption Foundation Executive Director Vasyp Mevsumov. At the end of this year, for the first time in Azerbaijan, the European Youth Organization will finance a visit of 4 students of boarding schools to Strasbourg, France. The experts and public figures underlined the importance of the project and the need to expand it. The State Council for Support to NGOs held discussions on the interim reports of the NGOs implementing education projects. The Council Executive Secretary Farasat Gurbanov informed that this year the Council has financed 30 projects. 189,000 AZN was allocated for the projects. 79% were involved in the implementation of the project. The projects covered 18 cities and towns. Within the framework of these projects, the NGOs published books, brochures, health trainings, seminars, monitorings, surveys, courses, debates, forums, and video trainings. The projects also covered events raising the awareness of the school children against smoking, drug addiction, and alcoholic drinks. A project has recently been held to address the increasing rate of suicide amongst the school children. It included psychological discussions in about 10 schools. Meetings were held with the students of 3 universities as a part of the project on formation of quality education mechanisms in the universities. With this view, the progressive education mechanisms of the leading European universities were studied. The second phase of the project will start in July 2011. 27-year-old Tural Karimov, an internally displaced person from Fizuli region, has been imprisoned on trumped-up charge of murder, said his attorney Tofik Aliyev at a press conference at Arifas Press Center. Aliyev said that the criminal procedural violations have been common in the primary investigation and at trial. Tural Karimov, arrested on 30 December 2009, was illegally held in prison for 5 days and faced torture. It was only in January 2010 that he was sentenced to prison detention. The lawyer Ali believed that his client is ungroundedly charged with the murder of Aziz Aliyev, 82, who was murdered in Fizuli region on 25 December 2009. The defendant's side believed that a family member of the late person and a police employee were involved in the murder. The law enforcement agencies required a great amount of money from the arrested youth's father, Ilham Karimov, who refused to do it, citing the innocence of his son. As the defendant's attorney and father reported that the case against Karimov was falsified by Police Chief Commander Askarov and the acting prosecutor of the region, Cengiz Maksumov, and the investigator at the General Prosecutor Office Grave Crimes Department, Kamil Talibov. The pressures on the witnesses, the falsification of court protocols, the ungrounded dismissal of the defendant from the courtroom, the dismissal of the attorney Osman Kazimov from his job represent some of the violations against Joel Karimov. The case was submitted to the Court of Grave Crimes in May 2010. However, it was sent back for an additional investigation. The case has been in consideration of the Lincoln Regional Court of Grave Crimes since January 2011. Joel Karimov has been detained in Baku Investigative Prison at present.